All right. I'm excited about doing this because I have failed so many pie crusts that I feel like I really need to work on this. So when someone said that they would willing to help me work on pie crust, did you say that you worked in a bakery for like years and years?
No, I didn't work in it. I had my own bakery.
Oh, even more so.
Yeah, in Lagos, Nigeria, and I employed 6 people.
Oh, so that's when you're saying I'm working on getting a commercial kitchen. You know the trials and tribulations.
Oh my God, it's so much work.
All right, I'll talk to you. You could be on my cadre of advisors.
Okay, but I'll
right.
tell you, this bakery was in Lagos, Nigeria, and you know what I mean. If you didn't watch it, they were just stealing from you left and right, and giving things away to their, you know what I mean, friends and family. So you really had to watch it.
Well, the point of the commercial kitchen I'm going to open will be to feed people who need it, so that if people need it, it won't be stealing from me. I guess It's just like.
That's
but
why
of course, if there's no food at all, I can't feed anybody.
That's why owners of businesses spend 18 hours a day there, because when they're not there, people are stealing.
Like, I don't know. I trust my guys to run my business. That's why I can do the fun charity stuff. All right. Let's go through the ingredients to make sure I have them all. I will try to pop it over into chat here. If you've got it readily accessible, if you could
Absolutely.
go down the list. Let's see here. We've got flour. It didn't specify what kind of flour.
All-purpose flour.
All right.
All-purpose white flour. You know, the type that's not very nutritious.
It's like, well, I always wondered if we were supposed to have like
Self-rising or
pastry,
something.
no, pastry flour.
My mom never used pastry flour. She just used all-purpose flour, so that's what we're using.
All
This
right.
is my mom's recipe. So.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's what I've liked. We've been doing before Leave It to Chef, we did something called Rice and Spice, which was a dinner we got together and people were sharing their food and culture. So that's absolutely phenomenal. So going down the list, 4 cups of flour, 1 1/3 cup of Crisco. You said do not use butter.
Now, I'm sure that didn't say 1 1/3. I think let me see the recipe. I think it's 1 2/3. So I'm a little.
Oh, 1 3/4. Excuse me.
Oh, 3/4. That's right.
Yeah.
1 3/4 of Crisco.
All right. If you could go down the list of ingredients, and I'll make sure while you're saying it, I'll make sure that
You have it. Okay. 1 tablespoon of sugar. 2 teaspoons.
Yeah, I mean, I have.
Yeah.
It's like
2 teaspoons of salt. 1/2 cup of water. 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and that's the white vinegar. 1 egg.
so apple cider vinegar is not good.
I think you could probably use it, but
Let's see.
I have a white vinegar.
I think I've
Okay, should we start?
throwing that. Is that everything?
Uh-huh.
Oh, and it says an egg.
And 1 egg, yeah. Okay, so we're putting this thing on.
Here's the people who are cooking along. It's in the chat.
Okay, let's bring the.
Let me change my camera.
Okay, yeah, just bring everything up.
All right.
Okay, so one of the things that's important that we're going to mix all the put everything that's on that list in this bowl, in the bowl. It doesn't make any difference, you know what, just put it all in there and start mixing it. And you could have something called a pastry.
Oh my goodness, look at this, Barbara. I bought this lemon yesterday.
Oh my goodness. We'll put the
like,
lemon down. We're not using lemons right now.
I'm just like, oh my goodness, I just bought that yesterday. All right.
Okay, so just put all those ingredients in the bowl. And then these are like pastry, the things that mix pastry. So here's like a pastry holder, which I'm going to be using. But basically, I'm going to be using a fork. You see the fork? The fork is really going to get it to the way that I want it. So let's put all the ingredients into the bowl.
All right, so
I've got Jane here. She's helping me.
4 cups of flour.
4 cups, make sure that it's even.
And this is the old school way, because the new school way, they measure everything by weight.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Yep, so
It's too complicated. You told me to
What's
get
the European way?
the
in
digital
the
scale. I
it's
got
not the
I
European way, it's the
examples of this.
baking way, because, for example, how fluffy is the flour? Do we run it through a sifter?
No, we're just hitting
I
it out.
like simple recipes.
Hardly anybody sifts anymore, I have a feeling.
Well, if you get good flour, I guess it's already like, but if it got compacted.
I think
Well, yeah,
in the
but
old
still a
days,
whole thing.
flour needed more sifting.
No.
All right, I got 4 cups of flour,
Pour on. Okay, make it
2
flat.
tablespoons of
So that's 3,
sugar.
right?
Yeah.
3,
3.
now 4. Got my helper here. Isn't that wonderful?
Your sous chef.
Yeah.
Yay.
It doesn't have much sugar in it.
Nope.
2 tablespoons.
Okay, so there we are. There's the flour. You get the flour. Now what's the next thing? Is the 1 3/4 cup. So you're going to fill this cup with Crisco. Get the other measure. Okay.
Oh,
Here's
you
the-
specifically say in your recipe, do not use butter.
do not use butter.
Use
Now,
Crisco.
I actually went to 3 stores to try to get shortening, and there must be a shortage because I was not. So my choice is butter, oil, or I have some really good local lard.
I don't know what to tell you because this is a no fail. So you have to use the things that's on there. So if you make a substitution, that's up to you.
All right, so we'll see.
So I don't know whether it's going to fail or not.
Yep, there you go. So,
I would say go for the lard. It's the closest to Crisco.
and this is what do they call it? Kidney lard, so it's extremely soft. It has a different name. What do they call it? Sweet.
Did you say kidney lard?
Yeah,
Kidney.
I think it's kidney. All I know is it's super soft.
Well, you don't mind eating pork? Because pork is, lard is made from pork.
Yeah, so it's not halal.
I grew up in the South. Everything,
Hurry up, let's get it in.
Everything had pork. Okay.
Like that.
well,
Yep.
no, everything had lard in it. Not
Yeah,
Does
okay.
not eat
Sorry.
kosher.
I'll get that one. And then you're gonna have to do 3/4.
The nice thing about lard is you can throw it out just
Well,
like
I have to do half better
Okay,
so
to make 3 quarters.
okay.
you can get this at the local store. Just like
A
4
lot of
pounds.
us are old enough to remember putting bacon grease in a soup can on the back of the stove. That was before we had Crisco.
Where did I had that in Germany at I don't know, a hostel. They had just like all the bread and stuff out there, and then they just had this bucket of, it looked horrible. It was like all different grease and bits and stuff,
Oh
but it was
no.
like all the bacon grease afterwards.
Dip your bread in that.
Oh, that was fun.
And then what's the next one?
1 tablespoon to sugar.
Oh, I gotta get my tablespoons out.
So you put all of these things in together before you mix the Crisco with the dry
Yeah,
ingredients?
putting everything in together.
You put the wet in as well?
Huh?
You put the
Yep,
water and
everything-
vinegar and
everything in
egg
the
The
in
bowl.
at
water,
the same
everything, the
time?
vinegar, just put everything in there.
Okay.
Are you doing, are you doing it? Here's the measurements here. Tablespoon.
Pretty cool. We're learning your mom's recipe.
This is my mother's recipe. My mother has now passed away, but she was a great pie maker. And when the kids would come home for Christmas, we would have pumpkin pie, lemon meringue pie, apple pie.
I don't think she's passed away if we're cooking her recipe. We're carrying on her memory.
Yeah, the spirit is there. And then she made a great cranberry raisin pie that was one of my
Ooh,
favorites.
cranberry raisin.
Oh, and then sometimes she'd make a pecan pie too. So she made a whole bunch of pies. She put them out there in the garage, which was real because it was in Idaho. So it was real cold in the wintertime. And all those pies would be sitting there waiting for us to eat.
So you said I have apple cider vinegar, but I've also got like this. Yeah, I've got this white cane sugar vinegar. That'll work better.
2 teaspoons, so I put 4 times.
You probably
You figure it out.
Yeah.
didn't. Let's see how much. Oh, it's only 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Probably doesn't matter what vinegar you use then.
Start over my shoulder.
Little. All right.
No, it's 1 cup
What did I miss?
water.
Oh, an egg.
Okay, once you do those 2 things, and I'll get the water and half cup water. Here's half cup in here.
Yeah, we covered it all with lard. I mean, not lard.
Okay, here's one cup of water. Okay, there.
So half a cup, so yeah.
Half a cup
So
of
1 teaspoon of vinegar. So let's go ahead. For this.
Don't want to put the whole bottle in.
Yeah.
Here, but
Just like only 1 tablespoon.
And
and then 1 egg. Put 1 egg in there.
And
And we're just about, we got, the last thing we're putting in is we're gonna crack the
I
egg.
don't know how to do eggs. Do you do?
Okay,
Okay.
crack the egg. Oh, I just got a shell in there.
Oh no.
Oh, there it is. No, yeah, I got it. Oh.
All right. Should I put a brown egg or a green egg?
Oh, that doesn't make any difference. Put in the egg.
My local.
I'm not particular. The only thing I'm particular about is that shortening. You didn't have it, but we'll see what happens. If you put lard in, I know that in African Americans, they do most of their pastries, a lot of pastries with lard and it works.
Well, I bet they were using lard in pie baking before they had Crisco, probably.
Yep.
Oh, they were.
I thought
Yep.
Crisco was lard. I didn't
No,
know.
it's
Crisco is
vegetable.
vegetable shortening. It's
Yeah. Okay.
it's literally
so I'm going
oil
to
that goes through a
start with
chemical
this.
process.
You guys, I'm gonna start with this. I'm
Man,
gonna just start mashing everything in.
I used to have one of those. I thought. But I don't see it anywhere.
Big fork.
I'm using the 2 knives method.
Oh, good. That'll take a little bit longer, but go
How do
ahead.
you do 2
I
knives?
don't have a pastry cutter.
Okay.
Do
I
you know
ordered
that
one just
one,
for this.
or
How do
whoever
you do the
else
2
is
knives
cooking?
method?
I'm using a pastry cutter.
Uh-huh.
Can I just run it through my mixer here?
Mm,
Well, I'm using the pastry cutter right now, but with my mother, when I used to do it with my mom, it was always with the fork.
Oh wow. That would take
And,
so long to do.
I'd be sitting at the table and,
Oh.
with a bowl, and we'd be talking and going on and laughing, and it would take a while. Okay. Okay, now I've got most of it done with a lot of it done with the pastry cutter. I'm gonna move the pastry cutter away from now, and I'm gonna start with the fork.
Yeah, because I used to use the pastry cutter to make my mashed potatoes.
Well,
I don't see it
she
anywhere.
said, Jane said, oh, it looks like it'd be so much fun to just use your hand, but we are gonna use our hand, but it's gonna be it has to be more mixed up than this to use the hand.
So I'm using a fork. What's the 2 knives method someone mentioned?
I was gonna say, you put 2 knives in together and then you go like this in the
Oh.
bowl.
All right,
Yeah,
let me
see,
give
I'm
that,
using the fork right now.
let me give that a
Oh,
try.
okay.
See, I'm using the fork.
So I got 2 butter knives and you just cross it.
You cross them so that they're
what I'm doing
parallel
here?
to each other
Go
and
ahead. You
touching,
do it.
It's like,
and then you go in and to the sides.
oh, that does it pretty quick.
Oh, no, you do it like this. Take
Oh,
it like
wow.
this, and you do it against the wall of the.
I lost
See,
my
I'm showing
piece.
her the way you do with the fork. You take the fork and you press it against the side of the bowl so that it gets real smashed. So
All
here, now she's gonna do it.
Make sure, you want to make sure all that, there's no dried stuff.
It takes a while.
And
Yeah,
why
you're not
wouldn't I
gonna
want
mix
to,
it like you do a cake.
why wouldn't I want to use the
You're
mixer to
not
mix
gonna do it
this?
like that. You're going to be
It gets
taking your
tough.
fork
Or
and
Okay.
pressing it through the holes of
So
the
you're
fork.
trying to mix it as
Oh.
little
And
as
it's
want it
possible.
light and
inside of
flaky.
the thing. So that's what you're gonna do. You're not going to be stirring it like you do a cake. You're going to be pressing it against the wall. So like R is doing it correctly.
So you wouldn't want to mix it. You're trying to mix it as little as possible.
I think so. I shouldn't be answering any questions. I'm just
remember-
remembering watching my mom too, Barbara.
I remember reading a direction that you, like, if you use butter, you wanted to keep the butter as cold as possible, but soft. And so you wouldn't melt it. So part of it is you're trying to make, okay, mine is all mixed up, isn't it? Yep. You're trying to mix it as little as possible with,
Yeah, like I remember you're supposed to put cold water in and
and you're trying to
No.
keep this from getting as warm, trying to keep it from getting very warm too.
Mhm.
I remember reading that somewhere. But I like, he calls this no fail pie crust, so.
Yeah, no fail. I hope that I don't fail.
Well, I think I've already failed. I have one ingredient wrong.
Oh no.
Try to, hey, Jane, don't try to mix it too much.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about that. We have
Oh,
already added the vinegar. You know, in a regular pie crust, they don't call for vinegar, they don't call for egg. So I don't think you have to worry
Okay.
so much about the.
Yeah, because regular pie crust, they're very meticulous about saying, don't get don't get it warmed up by mixing it too much. All right. Now, Barbara, will I oil the pans to put this in there? Oh, wait,
No.
do we turn the oven on to start warming it?
Yeah, you can turn the oven on to 350.
Yeah, oh, wait, before you do that, check and see if you don't have anything in your oven. I used to store stuff in my oven and I almost melted something,
I've had that happen before.
but now I don't store anything in there because I use it regularly.
Well, I'll tell you something. I remember when I used to do this, I used to be able to mix it. Maybe it was a different kind of pie crust, but it would like mix so that there's little peas, like it was, you know, so small like little peas. But this one is the one that we're doing. It turns out to be kind of wet. Maybe the egg was too big or something maybe like that. So, but anyway, so I can't get.
Mine's pretty dry and clumpy. I mean,
Yeah, yours looks different than mine. See.
but part of
And,
it.
and quite frankly, it's supposed to look kind of dry.
But I mean,
It's not
let's
supposed to-
say, I mean, you know, if you had 1 tablespoon of water different,
Well, we had 1/2 cup of water. But I
that's
think
why
mine
chefs
is,
are so meticulous about weighing things so that it's exact. But
well, mine, it looks like it's a little bit more, wet than I remember it should be. But anyway, we're gonna see if it's a no fail. Can we move this stuff now? We need to move all this stuff. All this stuff, see? We didn't put any sugar in it, did we? Did we? Oh, you did? Okay, I put everything on the table so I can use the space. So I'm gonna roll the dough out here.
all right, I got my oven in. You said rolling the dough out. All right.
We're gonna roll it out. And when you roll it out, you gotta make sure that there's flour on the surface. Oh, before we roll it though. Before we roll it, I'm gonna put it down here on the surface. Here, I'm using my hand.
Must have packed a lot of my baking stuff away. I don't see my rolling pin. Oh well, I'm gonna use the sriracha bottle.
Oh, when I was in Africa, I couldn't get a rolling pin, so I used a big bottle. You know what I mean? And that works.
Wine bottles.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but it has to have a kind of a straight surface here.
Okay, so but you said flour the
Yeah. Well, first of all, before you do that, we're not gonna roll it yet, because we're gonna, we're gonna divide it up into thirds, into 3 balls.
You're giving it a little bit of kneading
So
right now.
This dough here is enough for one single a 9-inch pie crust and 1 double pie. One crust and the upper crust. So we need to divide this
Ooh,
evenly.
you're gonna teach us how to do the top part
It's
too?
gonna be a bottom and a
No,
top.
you have to do that at a later time. But I can't teach you how to do that. You just have to roll it out. So, okay, now I want you to divide it into thirds. So you'll have 3 balls here. You see the balls? You divide it into thirds, you have 3 balls.
All right.
Okay, now these, we're gonna use one of the balls today with a 9-inch single pie crust for the lemon meringue pie. And then these other 2 balls are going to be put in saran wrap in the freezer, and you can use it at a later date.
I'm gonna go ahead and make all 3 because I'm always make a lot.
Well, you're ambitious.
Now, can you just make it as a pie crust and then freeze it?
Yeah, just, can you do what?
Can you bake it as a pie crust and then freeze it?
What? You'd have to roll it all out.
Well, that's what I mean, but could you bake it and not put anything in it and then just put the pie crust in the freezer? Then it's already pre-baked.
I would think so.
Now wait, you could roll it out, put it in a pie, whatever, and bake it. But why do that?
I don't know. Then it's pre-baked, so I can just take it out and fill it.
I wouldn't do that.
Or that makes it just like buying a frozen pie crust.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Like it could possibly affect the flakiness or,
Yeah, something. Anyway, so right now I've got 2 balls that are now wrapped in saran wrap right here. And I'm going to take those 2 balls and I'm going to put those in the freezer.
All
So-
right. How much flour do I lay out?
Just let me put this in the freezer first.
All right.
I want to get rid of it. See?
You're one of those cooks that keep your surface and area nice and clean. I like that.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so now I am ready. Oh, can you put this down here?
I think I put too much flour out on the board.
Okay, it doesn't make any difference how much the flour costs. You know what I mean? So if there's flour on extra flour, so what? You know? Okay, so now I'm getting ready to roll the one of these balls. So I will go in here and put my hand in the flour, and I'll put flour all on the surface that I'm going to roll.
Yeah, so you put just a little bit. That's, yeah.
Or should I start preheating the?
Yeah, didn't we?
No.
No, let's do that.
Should I
Okay.
take off the thing? That's
What?
Oh, it's starting. It's interesting.
do
It's
that.
starting to like,
Just put that out.
take it out.
that vinegar definitely gives it a much more fluffiness to it. I can feel it just touching it.
Can you put this somewhere else? It's good. It's so good. Yeah, somewhere. Get rid of it. Okay. Now here, I have a glass 9-inch pie tin right here. This is what I'm going to be doing. So it's important that you have it here because when you start rolling, you want to know that you're going to have enough. You're going to roll it enough so that it'll fit into the pan. So I put my dough right onto the surface and it's got the flour down there. So if I need extra flour, go ahead and put it. You don't have to be sticking. So here I am. I'm going to kind of pat it with my hand because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rolling pin, but I want to get it kind of, in a place where I can actually work with it. And it's going to be round. So
I noticed you like get your hands and put it around the side like that to make it nice and round.
Yeah, you can. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm patting it so that it's kind of round. I'm going to make sure that I have plenty of flour on the top and on my rolling pin. So I don't want, see how I'm putting a flour on this rolling pin? Okay, now I'm going to start rolling.
My rolling pin is spicy. It's a bottle of sriracha.
I'm going to start rolling out. Then I'm going to work the other direction and start rolling out. So I'm going to keep a circle throughout.
So you just go around the edge and push the edge out.
Yeah, and if it looks like, oh, it's starting to stick a little bit, then that's when you give it some more flour on top. So just keep on rolling and keep rolling it so it's in a circle.
Do you have to flip the roll or you?
Not yet. No, in fact, we won't flip it at all until we flip it to the pie tin. So, and here I've got a little break here. So I know that that's not good on the side when I have a little break. So I'm with my hand, I'm going to kind of scooch it over. So I want to keep it round. It's going to help me if it's round.
Yeah, I had one place that stuck to my rolling pin and it came apart.
Okay, then you need to go in with your hand and flour, and you're gonna make it better. Okay, so I'm continuing to use the rolling pin.
And I guess are we just trying to make it slightly bigger than the pan?
Yes, because it's gonna go up on the side.
Okay.
See, I've taken my pan and I put it over here on what I've rolled. And so I can see that maybe I need a little bit more on one side. So I'll roll it a little bit more, but not much.
You've been doing it long enough that you can just eye it. I had to flip the pan over on top of it to check.
Well, that's what I do. Okay, so I'm pretty much happy with the way that it looks. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take not a spatula, but let me go in here and do it because you need. What happens is that I need to turn it over half, and it's probably going to stick. So you have to be real careful. Not that one.
So probably put some more flour on it to make sure it doesn't stick together.
Yeah. Okay. If you have a long spatula, it's better than this. I only have a short one. I don't have a long one, but if you have a longer one, it works better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold the dough in half. So I'm going to go under because I'm going to pick it up and like she used the word flip. So I'm going to flip it in half.
But I should make sure there's enough flour on the top so it doesn't stick together. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, I forgot to do that. I better do that.
Hey, wait, I remembered something.
Yeah, well, I haven't done this for quite a long time, but I used to do it all the time when I was younger. But right now, I live by myself. So, I mean, what the heck? Why am I going to make a pie? I'm already fat. And, I can't eat a pie by myself. And
You
but I
make-
don't
what
give
do
it
they
in
call them?
the-
The mini pies where they're just,
Yeah, that'd be better. Okay. So, am I ready to flip? I think I am. Okay, I did. Okay, see you guys, can you see it here? See mine? I just flipped it over.
okay, that was, you made it look easy. Mine, had a hard time. See,
Really?
that's experience, I guess.
So now what I'm going to do with my spatula, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to work my spatula around to the different sides so that I know that when I flip it to the pie tin, that it's going to actually come over, I did. So it's right now, it's ready to be put in the pie tin. Here's the pie tin. So now I'm going to put the pie tin next to it, and I'm going to flip it over a half. The half will go in the half of the pie tin. See that, the half right there?
Mine's sticking to the thing.
Okay, that isn't half.
I guess I didn't put enough flour.
This will be a little bit more.
Mine is too, but I'm just scooching it along.
All right.
A little bit more.
Okay.
Barbara
Half of
made
it-
that look easy.
I've
Mine
got half up. I've got it folded in half.
Okay, you got it folded in half. Good. Okay,
I'm getting
now,
there.
this one, except this one is.
Yeah, mine, I guess I didn't put enough flour originally because mine stuck. And when I flipped it, it tore a little bit.
Okay, so I mean, mine doesn't, see, it doesn't look that great. So now I'm gonna fix it up. I'm gonna take it with my hand and kind of, try to fix it. Now, what I want is,
Well, don't look at mine. Look at mine. What a mess it is.
not that much, not that bad. You
Really?
can fix it
Okay, it
up.
looks like a mess to me.
No, you just take your hand and start fixing it up. So you take your hand, go in there, and you press it so that it'll press better into the thing. And what you're looking for now is the sides of your pie, if it's going to look good. So there might be some sides like here.
I
It
got one
doesn't come
side
up
that
enough.
I didn't put it in even, so one side is higher than the other.
Uh-huh, you see, you got to be careful with that.
Could you cheat by using some of your leftover dough to kind of patch it up?
That's right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this a little bit of leftover dough, and I'm going to press it in there.
Now, if you're only making one pie, instead of rolling it out, could we have just like put the ball in the center and then just use our fingers to press it out like this?
Well, I suppose you could. It probably won't look as good.
That
Well,
would be more like
mine
pizza
at this
dough-
point,
like
I'm having to
pizza
use
dough
my
you would
fingers
do
for the
that.
whole thing. I mean,
Okay,
I was,
so I got now my pie crust into my pie. You see,
Yeah.
it doesn't look perfect, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fork. Now, if I had a different kind of pie, I could do it like I could take my thumb and go, in and out like that.
Make little
or-
scallops along the edge.
Scallops, or I can take a fork and I can just press the fork in and make it
you're
design with my fork.
you're barely pressing the fork, right? It
Well,
doesn't look like
I'm
you're
making a
pressing for it.
design.
Is your top crust going to overlap or is it not going to overlap?
It's not going to overlap.
Okay.
So that's why I was thinking to just take the fork and do it.
There's no top crust in this pie, right?
No, there's no top crust in this pie. In the lemon meringue, it's just the
Oh.
crust. Yeah. So I
I
mean,
forgot it was lemon meringue. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lemon meringue pie. So
No
it's
top.
just the pie crust. Okay, instead of doing with my thumb in and out, I'm going to just use this fork. It's pretty easy. I'm just going to press the fork into the top like that and make a design. I don't know if you can see that
Yeah.
on here. I'm just taking the fork and making a design with the
Looks
fork.
good. Looks good.
And when I'm doing this, some of the dough is going over the edge. Do I cut that off or just
You
leave
cut that off.
it? Okay.
Now, if you were making the thing where you a pie crust where the dough comes up way up over the thing, then you use your thumb and you make a scalloped thing. with
Oh,
it.
so to like hold the So if you were making a deeper, you're making like a little dam to hold the stuff.
Well, no, I think it's just a design. You just use a little bit. It just depends on the pie tin and that. But in this pie tin, it looks like it's okay for lemon meringue pie to have, you know, just these scallops. Now, so here it is. I don't know if you can see it well enough, but I've got little scallops all along. Now, some people when they were making
What do you
the
guys
pie-
think? Mine almost looks as good as Barbara's, but all the
Yeah.
thumbprint, how many thumbprints I had to do though.
Okay, now I'll tell you, if you are
I
a
end
real
up with about a
professional,
half a teaspoon extra.
yeah, throw that away, or just you can bake it as a cookie and put some sugar on it or something. But yeah, if you're a real professional, what they do, they lay some kind of a parchment down on the bottom of the pie tin, and then they put beans in there, and that makes it so that the pie crust is absolutely flat when it bakes. In this case, when it bakes, it might puff up a little bit, but you know, it's a lemon meringue pie, so who cares? Nobody's gonna see that anyhow. So
Okay.
I don't think it really makes that much difference.
Here's mine so
in this
far.
type of pie. So here it is.
Look at
I'm putting it in the
Suzanne's.
oven.
Yeah,
Mine, Barbara.
looks good.
I'm putting it in the oven now, and it should stay in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes. And Jane here is gonna be the professional person that leans against my stove. Oh, boy. So I've got a little bit of dough left, and I'm gonna actually throw it away.
So
I don't need it.
I've
Jane's
been
the,
eating it. I eat
Jane's
it
the
raw.
oven door minder.
Yes, I'm the oven door minder.
Yeah, that's her professional, name here. And right now I'm gonna clean up the mess in front of me while she's leaning against the door. Oh, we better put the timer on.
Yeah.
So some people like would put aluminum foil around the edge to keep it from burning, but why was that the case? I've read
10
people
minutes.
do that.
Okay, so I'm getting the space cleaned up, because we're gonna start making the lemon filling.
All right. Well, you said I'm trying to make another pie crust, so I'm gonna try to make.
That's what I
3.
mean.
All right, there's 2 of them. So, but this one I did just with my thumbs.
Okay, yeah, it's a thumb. You go in thumb with your 2 fingers. The thumb, you see what I mean? You go in like this, R. You know how to do it, don't you? Like this. You squeeze it between 2 fingers and your thumb, and you get that crumpled scallop thing.
Crumpled scallop. All right. Yeah, this definitely is interesting. I mean, I've made pie crust before, but this one has a really nice fluffy texture.
Well, it seemed like mine was a little bit more wetter than yours for some reason. I don't know. It could be that, we had a little bit different ingredient.
Yeah, I mean, usually mine tends, because I live in a place that's very humid, so everything tends to be a little more moist here. If I'm not careful, I could very easily. So, all right.
Well, I know that, some people were saying that you need to put it in the.
Did you set a
freezer
timer
to
for
make
10
cold and
minutes?
all that. But quite frankly, in that pie crust they're talking about, they don't have any vinegar. They don't have an egg. So it's a little bit different recipe.
Barbara, did you set the timer or are you just gonna look at it when you think it's done?
No, we set the timer.
Okay.
And, Jane, Jane is the monitor here. And I'm just cleaning up the space. Because, I live in an apartment, so I don't have a huge amount of space. And
That's a good
But I like
habit. I mean,
everything
I think a
together.
lot of people, we get so used to only cleaning up after we're done that we make a bigger mess.
Yeah, no, I never did that. Even when the kitchen was bigger, my mother said, whenever you have time, you always clean up, you know what I mean, as you go. And I guess I listened to her for once. I usually didn't like listening to her, you know what I mean? She was too conservative, you know what I mean? And I like to
Now, did you?
my thing. But in this particular thing, I did.
All right, so now we're gonna do the filling, huh?
Well, I'm waiting for you, to start the filling.
All right, I'm ready.
You are, okay. So we're gonna do this all in the pan. So get your pan out. My pan is out.
How big is the pan?
And let me get my recipe so I know what I'm doing.
Let's see.
Is it just a saucepan?
Okay. The very first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to take well, first of all, what we're going to do, in 2 pans, we're going to divide the eggs. There's 4 eggs to this recipe. So I want you to take 2 bowls. This bigger bowl I'm going to use for the egg whites because this is going to make the meringue. And when I use the beaters, I want to be able to, really beat it. So I'm going to put my whites of the eggs in this bowl, and I'm going to put the yolks of the eggs in this bowl. So let's crack 4 eggs right now. And with the meringue or things with egg white, when you whip them, you can't have any of the yolk in there. So you have to be real careful about separating.
So four eggs with the yolk and the
Sorry,
white.
I mean, egg. Could you get one from the, that's okay, I'll hold this. Get that from just bring that out altogether.
Now, do you have any particular trick to separate them? I always just use the shells.
Yeah, that's what I do too, but recently I noticed that I'm not doing so well on it.
Yeah, you can just buy those little plastic ones. They work pretty good too.
Okay, yeah, I need another egg. Okay. One more egg.
So yeah, I just pour it back and forth and
Or you do it through your fingers?
Yeah, okay.
just matters how
I'm
sharp
gonna
your
have the
fingers.
whites in this one.
Aquafaba, the stuff that I made the most out of. I wonder if you could use
So let's
that
see,
as a
four eggs separated.
Well, see, I'm gonna do it with my hand.
Oop.
Here, I got eggshell coming out.
Oh no.
I'm not doing so well with this anymore, like when I was younger. Okay, but no, it's fine. So here it is. I'm just talking to myself. Okay, let's get this out of the way so they can see. I'm not fantastic on this, but
Barbara, your assistant doesn't know how to do eggs.
I know, I'm sorry, I cannot help.
One of your hands.
she's so good with the monitoring the stove here, so I'm happy with that.
But I was saying that maybe, so the other night I made aquafaba mousse, which is where you take the liquid from the chickpea and you beat it up and it makes this foamy stuff.
It's amazing.
I was like, maybe you could do that with the meringue. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing
I
is,
don't think so because it doesn't stay. Oh shit!
Oh no, you.
it's like there's a
It just went
default.
inside, but it didn't break.
Okay.
So maybe I can do it with my hand, get it out. Yeah, I can. Okay.
I mean, part of it is,
Okay, last egg. Last egg. Let this one be a winner.
all right, the intensity.
Oh, it's already
did you
broke.
get it? Oh,
Already.
broke. But you
It's
got
already
it.
broke. Yeah.
You have to make sure the yolk doesn't get in the white.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I did it.
Oh yeah.
And there's no yolk in my bowl here. So
Right.
this is very good.
Jane, as a vegan, a lot of recipes say put eggs in and you don't have to put eggs. It's just kind of a
But
default.
for meringue, you have to put eggs.
Meringue, yes.
Really work.
Meringue is,
That's why I'm saying maybe you can make.
I'm sure
meringue
there's a
with
vegan
aquafaba.
meringue.
No, it doesn't stay. You know, I noticed that last night, you know, like it doesn't stay. You know, it falls real quick.
Yeah.
So that was the problem. Okay, so I got that separated. I'll put that over here because I'm going to be using the egg yolk in. Okay, now in my pan that I'm cooking, here's my pan that I'm cooking this thing. I'm going to add the other ingredients, which is
We've got 1
I'm
cup
gonna
white
add-
sugar, 2 tablespoons all-purpose flour.
yeah, 1
2
cup
tablespoons
flour.
cornstarch,
No, wait.
and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So let me put
1
everything.
cup white flour.
Is that a white flour?
Now we're putting all this in the saucepan.
What'd you say?
It's white
I'm
flour.
gonna be adding to the pan because now we're going to be using what?
That's the flour, right?
Yeah, but yeah, the flour. But let me get the whisk. I want to get the whisk.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna use a whisk. This is a whisk. For this
But
recipe.
Barbara, did you say 1 cup of flour? I thought it was 2 tablespoons.
I made a
Oh.
mistake. 1 cup white sugar.
Uh-huh, okay.
So I add 1 cup white sugar to the pan. Yeah, 1 cup white. Now 1 cup white sugar. Then add the flour, the cornstarch, and the salt, and stir in the water. So that's what we're gonna do. 1 cup of white sugar.
All right. 1 cup white sugar, 2 tablespoons all-purpose, and then 3 tablespoons cornstarch. So we're basically making like a jelly. Or
Pudding.
a pudding, that's what I meant. 2 tablespoons all-purpose.
My timer just went off for my pie crust.
Did yours?
Mine has 2 minutes
30
still.
seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds.
And then 3 tablespoons cornstarch. Does anybody know if cornstarch goes bad?
I don't know.
I know baking soda and baking powder loses its effectiveness over time.
Okay, so I've got the sugar in there. Now I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of flour. Where's the tablespoon? The bag. I want to plug it there. I don't know. Oh, they're not.
So far, I've got
It's back there.
1 cup sugar, 2 tablespoons flour,
Oh,
3
Timer
tablespoons
going on.
cornstarch,
Okay,
now
yeah,
salt.
yeah. There's things behind. Okay, use that if you like.
no, this is
Yeah, our timer went off at 10 minutes, so our timer went off too. So she's gonna take it out of the oven, and let's take a look at it. You bring the spring thing out so we can look at it first. Okay, let me just put my hand on it. No, I want to put my hand.
All right.
No, it needs to bake more. Okay, I did 10 minutes, but our stove isn't working so well, so we gotta leave it in a bit longer because I put my hand on it and it was too soft in the middle. So
Okay.
it needs to cook more. So we put it back in the oven.
And Jane leans on it some more.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at it in another, say, 4 minutes. You can tell when it's done. It looked like it was done on the sides, but in the middle it was a little bit soft when I put my hand on it. So we're gonna, bake it for longer. Okay, now 2 tablespoons of flour. Where is the tablespoons again?
It's on the table.
Oh.
That's better.
Where? But didn't I just get it?
Oh yeah, it's here. No,
Oh,
you
okay.
moved.
Okay. 2 tablespoons of flour go in there.
I
Okay.
can't find my microphone.
One.
So basically, you said you felt the center to see if it was.
And 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Cornstarch here.
I think mine needs another 5 minutes too. I think I didn't warm up the oven ahead of time.
You didn't put it at 350 to start, so it's gonna take longer.
It's at 350, but I, didn't warm it up
You forgot to preheat.
I have a gas stove, so it doesn't have like that preheat setting, so you don't,
Okay, one.
but I can listen to the flame. If it like, I turn it on and then the flame will shut off once it hits to the temperature.
2.
All right.
Do you have an oven thermometer?
Yeah, I do. But I never use it.
3.
All right.
Okay, 3. Okay, a little salt. Where was the salt now?
So I put the white sugar, the all-purpose flour, cornstarch, and salt in the pan. Whatever. Anybody got a trick on how to zest the lemon without a zester?
Is this one? I think it is.
Maybe I can use one of these
Also a really
Yeah.
small one, a medium one. Yeah.
scrapers.
I thought
That's
it was
one.
That'll work.
Look at
It'll be
this.
kind of funny big.
Is it, this was one
I
fourth.
think that's that's one.
That's one piece for, I think
I
this
think
is
this
it.
is 1/2. Yeah.
All right.
You could use your razor if you had a razor.
I have salt, okay. Now, before
Got a
we,
microplane.
Oh, there you go. Use that.
okay,
Use
I'm
your,
gonna go ahead and mix this stuff up in the pan, just the dry ingredients, but I'm not gonna start cooking it yet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my lemons ready, so that they're on the side here. So we need 2 lemons and zest. So let's, get our 2 lemons out.
It's been through for
yeah,
me.
use that other gadget for your zest because you get too much pith the other way. Or
Yep. I'll
We're
use
just
the,
checking our pie crust now to make sure that it's
your
okay before I
microplane.
get my lemons,
I added another 5 minutes to mine.
well, see, the sides are good.
But I also have 3 of them in the
It
oven.
needs to
so-
cook
Do it
longer.
more. Okay.
I just checked my pie crust and my hand went on into the pie crust and it was still too soft. The dough was too soft, so it goes in the oven, stays in the oven. It could be because we can't really close the door properly, and I need to get in here and get the lemons. Sorry.
So the lemons, we're just juicing the 2 lemons,
Yeah, I'm getting the zest.
or should I zested it before I juiced it? Probably.
Yeah, you have to zest it before.
Oh,
That was,
a little.
and this
too
one,
much
that was a
for that.
mistake.
Well, yeah.
These lemons are huge. Look how big these are. It's almost as big as my fist.
Okay, could you pick up that whisk off the floor? It's been on the floor. Yeah. So I've got my lemons out. And
Is the zest going in the same bowl as the lemon juice?
no,
Okay.
because actually on this recipe, the zest is gonna go on top of the meringue.
Okay, so I'll save that.
But I'll tell you something, I remember my mom's pie, and she had a little bit of zest inside the pie too. So, she liked, I guess, to make it real lemon. So, anyway,
Someone on the cooking show told me I need to get this microplane, and this is the first time I've used it. I'm using it to.
Oh, they're great.
I've got one of these things, I think you probably have that too, and it's just wonderful. You put half of the lemon in there and it squeezes the juice out.
Oh,
real
I
quick.
used it. I use this. It's a bamboo.
Oh.
I use it for
good?
orange, grapefruits, and
Yeah,
lemon.
but the little squeezer one, like Barbara has, keeps the seeds back.
That's true.
Yeah, those microplanes are great for grating cheese.
Yeah, this works really good. I mean,
Yeah,
it's long and skinny, and it's like,
very sharp.
well, it's brand new, so it better be. But
Well, it's all it's all stainless steel, so if you just rinse it off and dry it, it'll.
so what else do you use it for besides? I forget why someone said I need to get it, and then I think I used it for.
I use it mainly for grating cheese.
And I'll hold it. Thing.
Yeah.
Okay, do not zest that, but you don't get the white stuff. You just
Yeah,
get the yellow. Okay.
Yeah,
Go
you
ahead
don't
and
want
zest
the
it.
pit.
I'm holding the oven door, and she's doing the zest right now.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
just want to get everything out so that, we're not stopped in the process.
Yeah, you
Thank you
don't
for
want any
keeping
of the
doing this
pith
class,
'cause
even
it's
though your
bitter.
door broke. But hopefully you'll get your oven door fixed pretty soon.
I hope so, or that maybe they'll give me a new one, who knows? I don't want to tell them I fell on it because they might say, well, you have to pay for it,
They're not that hard to. I had one
to adjust.
break, and they're not that hard to replace well, unless they're really, really old, then sometimes it might be hard.
Yeah, no, it's not that old. But I mean, it was my fault, but I hate to tell them, I think that's probably enough. Oh, Jane just did the zest and it looked pretty easy that she did it.
All right.
Now, to get really a more of a lemon flavor, you could put some of the zest into our pudding after we finish. So, I mean, it's really up to you. When you taste the pudding.
One of my 3 pie crusts is ready, but the other 2 are not.
Oh, okay. Well, mine is still baking in the oven. It looks like it's baking. But I didn't, I felt the middle part. I thought it should be baked, a
No,
little bit more.
I always try to remember to set the timer again because I always think I'm like a visual cooker. So if it's in the oven, I tend to forget about it.
Barbara, can I ask a question?
Sure.
The 4 egg yolks are gonna go in the main
Pudding.
lemon filling part, right?
Yes.
But you have to
And then
beat, beat them first?
Well,
I've
no.
already got the lemon juice in with the sugar and the cornstarch. Can I put the egg yolks straight in there?
Let's do it little by little here.
Mm,
I mean, just wait until we do it.
okay.
Okay, we're still at the, zesting the lemon.
I thought I was
Take the lemon
behind
juice
because
and-
I hadn't broken the eggs yet. I hadn't separated the eggs yet.
Oh, you need to separate them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's enough. Okay,
I
now
have
we're going to cut those in half and use this thing for the juice for the other bowl.
I know how to use that.
All right. Yeah, like Fred said, when I
Okay, here's
use
enough.
this to juice the lemon, it ends up with seeds in it. So I need to pull the seeds out.
Is that half? Let me see. Yeah, half.
Now, do you guys ever use the lemon peel for anything?
I've been zesting. No.
Well, like
That's the other one too.
there's quite a few Indian recipes where you cook this with lentils for flavor.
Oh, that
yummy.
sounds delicious.
That would be delicious.
Yeah.
We love Indian food.
So you don't waste, you don't waste anything. So, after you've juiced it and zested it, you can still use the
I
lemon.
know, I've done this before. It goes this way, but
Well, we're gonna turn it around and do both, but we
Mhm.
start here with this one. Okay, now squeeze as hard as you can.
Let's see. I'm taking my
Yeah,
seeds out of my
Yes,
lemon.
we're gonna get seeds, we're gonna remove them.
yeah, but it's better to put them upside down.
We're gonna do both.
Yeah, it's better to better to do it this way.
All right.
Jane is doing is squeezing the lemons right now.
All right.
Yeah, this is.
But if
better
you
to
get
do it
some,
this way.
If you get some seeds, we just have to take them out, that's all.
Yeah, so Barb said it's better to put it both ways, but I think it's better to do it upside down. Put
Okay,
it upside down.
I do it both ways, just try to get every bit of juice I can out of it.
There's one more seed in there.
Looks
Yeah,
good.
that's really squeeze it.
It's interesting. They try to get seedless everything, but they never tried to do that with lemon.
No, they've never. They've got seedless oranges, but they've never got seedless lemons.
It is still
I guess not enough people complain about it, huh?
Put it the other way.
All right. Let's see where are we at now. So
Well, right now, we're squeezing lemons.
I've got my lemon juice
We've got lemon zest, probably a little bit too much, but here it
and
is.
lemon zest.
And
I've
we're
got-
squeezing the lemons.
I've got my egg whites in a bowl.
Yep.
And my egg yolks in another bowl. Well, a couple of them broke.
one is real big. Huh?
Yeah, there's different principles.
How's everybody else doing? Okay. Mhm. So Barbara, what are the next steps?
Okay, let me look at my recipe here. Okay.
Thank you for sharing your
We put
mom's
in the water. We have, in our pan, we have our 1 cup of sugar, flour, cornstarch, and salt. Whisk that together and stir in the water, the lemon juice, and the lemons. Oh, it says lemon zest. Okay, so we're gonna do it in both places. We're gonna put some on the top, and we're gonna put some inside. So,
I don't see
Can I ask a question? How much water? I don't think water's in the recipe.
Yep,
let me
there is
see. I
no.
thought there was.
No.
Oh, 1/2 cup water.
Okay.
Half cup
We're
water
gonna
in
use
with
that
the
for
flour
the-
and cornstarch.
No, we didn't. We used flour. Oh,
That
shoot.
was for the
I'm in the
front
wrong.
room.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't say any water, it just says lemon juice.
It sure does.
But it says 2 tablespoons butter. So it just
Yeah.
says lemon juice and butter, and that's it.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to add a little water too. But it doesn't say how much, so I'm guessing.
Well, probably you just need a little bit to liquefy it, right?
Well, we'll see, I'm sorry, I don't have it. Let's put, they're right, on my recipe, I don't have, how much water, but there is water, but I don't know how much. So I guess we're,
We'll
we're gonna
eyeball
try it out.
it. Start with a tablespoon.
Stir in the water, it says lemon juice and lemon zest. Okay, so I'll stir in the, okay, let's put in the lemon juice in this picture in a pan. Okay, I've got that in. Okay,
And the
And then-
amount of water probably depends on how much lemon juice.
That's true.
and a little
I mean,
water.
If you
So
have
that
big
just
lemons, you
won't be
don't
enough.
need much water. All
I
right.
have to have a little water. Fill this with water and we'll see. Okay, that's not, I just put in the lemon juice and that's not gonna be enough. I'm gonna have to have a little water. in
Oop,
there.
mine has started to burn on the edge.
Oh, don't start the pan yet.
No, my pie crust.
Oh, okay.
Should we check the pressure?
Okay, I've stirred in the lemon juice and actually it's coming out pretty good. But it needs to be, I'm gonna put some zest in there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm never
So I
very
put
good
the
at
lemon
baking
juice-
stuff and not getting flour.
I-
everywhere.
I put the lemon juice and the zest into the pan right now, but I haven't started cooking it. Okay, and
Oh, a seed. I see a seed. All right, lemon juice and zest.
It's getting brown on top.
okay, no, let's bring it out then. Okay, we're gonna bring out our pie crust now. Oh, yeah, and it's actually kind of a golden, on the edges, it's got kind of a golden brown, so it's actually cooked real nice.
Oh, I thought if it started getting brown, it was overcooked.
Well, it's perfect. The pie crust is perfect now. Let me see, can you bend the thing so you can show everybody what the pie crust looks like? It just came out of the oven.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Oh yeah, that's how mine looks like. Yeah.
Okay.
When you
let's
said
put
golden brown, I thought you meant the whole thing, and I was just like, ooh, sounds
No.
burnt to me. So I just put the lemon juice in here, and it's like completely liquefied now with no
Yeah,
water.
mine is completely liquefied too. But I think this is not going to be enough to go in that pie. You're gonna have to have more. So we need to add a little water, but I don't know how much. Can we throw this away?
Well, I haven't added the eggs. The eggs will puff it
Yeah,
up.
that's true.
It's more
Okay,
like,
let's look at my
um,
recipe.
what is it? Lemon souffle with all that eggs.
You're just gonna put the egg yolks in the filling, or not the egg
Yeah,
white.
we're gonna put the egg yolks in. We're gonna beat the
Oh yeah, the white
beat
is
the
egg
egg. We're gonna
whites
beat
are
the
gonna
egg
be in the
yolk.
meringue.
meringue. Oh yeah.
And no, the egg yolk, we're gonna beat it, but we're not gonna add it until the mixture here in the pan is boiling. Okay, you wanna mix that around?
All right, look at, yeah, I mean, look at how nice that is. That's just the lemon juice.
Gosh, yours looks different than mine.
But I had bigger lemons. I mean, my lemons were huge.
Okay,
And mine are
Oh.
big too.
So,
well, I'll tell you something. I'm gonna now turn on the stove. Let's see.
now probably you turn it on really low, right?
Well, I'm gonna turn it half. You know, medium.
Oh, there's another
And, cause
seed.
you know that cornstarch and flour is gonna get thick right away.
Yeah.
But, the mixture that I have in the pan right now is just not enough for this pie crust. So, I know I need to add a little bit of water to
You
it.
should have the water now.
So I think I'm gonna add, I'm gonna guess, but I'm gonna add about a half a cup. There. And I just done that. I've just added about a half a cup to that mixture, because I know that it's gonna get thick.
Oh, you've added half a cup of water, is that
Well,
right?
you eye yours, does that
Uh-huh.
look like, does it look like the filling that you're gonna make is gonna be okay for
Enough
your
to
pie
fill the
crust?
pie, yeah.
Enough to
So
fill
I
the
think
pot.
that you need to add a little water, but it's not, like you said, it wasn't on the recipe. And so it's a matter of guesswork.
Mm-hmm.
But I added about a half a cup of water to it.
I mean, essentially, we're making a pudding, a lemon
Yeah,
pudding.
we're making a pudding. But I was just thinking that without adding any water, the thing will be too thick.
Oh,
Now I am cooking it over the heat and I'm, stirring it with the whisk at the same time. But it needs to come to a boil, and then we're going to add those egg yolks.
when does the butter goes in later with the egg yolks?
After we add the egg yolks, the butter goes in.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Man, you could just use this part of the recipe just to make a lemon pudding. Although I don't know if I want to have butter in my lemon pudding.
What we're doing now is kind of a pudding, and when it's finished, we'll pour it into the pie crust.
So now that I added the water, I feel like I can actually turn the heat up on here.
Now, I just put my finger in it. It's not that hot yet to taste it, and it tastes delicious. I mean, there's
Good
plenty
idea.
of lemon flavor in there, and it just tastes really
Oh,
good.
wow. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this recipe and just make some pudding in the future.
But a lot of puddings have milk. There wasn't any milk in this, was there?
Well, there's butter and egg.
Yeah.
Not very vegan friendly.
Oh, if you look
Yeah,
on our
this is
past,
something
we
that
made a
Jane
chai
cannot eat
pudding.
because it's not vegan.
Not vegan friendly.
We made a chai pudding before.
Go get the butter. I can put that over here. Some butter. I just want it over on the side. Wow.
Which is totally vegan. Jane, did you ever see that? Our past, when we made the chai pudding?
The which pudding?
Chai.
We made a chai seed pudding.
Oh,
Chai
Oh,
seed.
chia
I
seed.
did,
You mean-
yeah. I
Chia,
did.
chia.
I want to make this one.
Or
I was
aren't you talking
pronouncing
about
it wrong.
chia?
I meant chia seed.
Yeah.
Chia.
seed.
I
It's
thought you
still
meant
spelled the
chai,
same as
but-
I thought you were
chai.
talking about the
Chia
tea.
seeds over here.
Oh, you do chia seed.
But I mean, isn't it spelled exactly the same? Chai,
No,
tea,
no.
and chia.
Chia
seed?
is
AI for chai and
CHIA.
IA for chia.
Oh,
Chai
okay.
is CHAI, so the A and I are in opposite direction.
I almost forgot to keep stirring mine. It started thickening with them.
Chia seed.
Just like, so yeah, if you look back through the archives on the YouTube, we have chia pudding.
Chia pudding, yeah. I think I did do the chia pudding one. Yeah. I think we did that
When
one.
I grew up, we made pudding out of tofu.
Out of what?
Basically, we would make, you'd make a pie crust from graham crackers, and then you would make basically a lemon,
Yeah. So,
you'd get soft tofu and you'd blend it with a flavor or a fruit of your choice, and then you just pour that in the pan. And you didn't have to cook the tofu part, because it was basically a cold pudding pie.
Mm.
You'd bake the crust, or you'd make a graham cracker crust, and then you just make the tofu pudding and you'd put it
This
in.
sounds delicious. You need to do this one, or you need to teach me how to make this.
I made my favorite probably is tofu blueberry pudding, and you put that in a graham cracker crust. Did you know
Do you blend up the blueberries into the tofu?
you can, or you just, it matters how smooth you want it. If you get a really silken tofu, you don't have to run it through the blender. You could basically do it with like, a fork or a potato masher. But the more you blend it, the smoother it is. But
Okay, now actually this recipe calls for, you pour a little bit of this into the egg. Mix it around. So you don't pour the whole thing all together into this mixture. You pour a little bit at a time. Then you add it to the whole thing.
when you
Into
said the egg, you mean
yolks.
just the yolks.
Yeah, you
The-
need to
I'm sorry, the egg
temper
yolks,
the
yeah.
egg yolks.
Okay. I
And
gotta beat
then
my
after
egg
you do that, then you add the butter.
Take a look at the
But it
difference
should
of
be done
color
by
of
that
mine.
time. I mean, we'll test it, but I think it should be done by that time.
All right, mine is really simmering, so I could turn it almost all the way down now. You said just take a few tablespoons, or how much
Oh, yeah, just, yes,
into the egg yolk?
yeah. Now, oh yeah, mine has now come to a boil. So now it's ready. I'm gonna pour a little bit into that bowl, and she's gonna mix it around.
So I'm just pour a little bit into the egg yolk.
Mix it around.
Well, I poured probably a third of it in there, and then whip
See,
it
I
up,
got a helper. You know what I mean? So it's easy.
and then pour it back in.
Then pour it back in the pan. Okay.
Thank you for letting me know about that step. I would have just whipped up the eggs and poured it in there.
Okay.
This,
I've still got lumps of cornstarch in my lemon stuff.
Oh,
ooh.
you weren't stirring it good enough.
Yeah, I guess I gotta heat it up more, maybe.
Or maybe
Are
you
you
heat it
using
up
a
too
whisk?
fast.
The problem, you have a whisk.
Okay, they put the butter in.
Yeah.
So what I did was I whisked the dry ingredients because mine was lumpy. So I whisked the dry ingredients before I
yeah,
added
why
the
not?
wet. Oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful pudding.
Look at the color of mine, how different it is
I
when you
guess it's not a
use.
pudding once you add eggs to
sugar.
it, right?
Okay, we put our butter in, and yeah, it's looking great. And I've still got them. So let me see the recipe. Does it say cook more, or if it's pretty much done now?
I think I need to shut mine off. It's starting to get
No, we're not making meringue yet. To bring to a boil. Okay. Now, we have to. Well, the egg is on. We have to also bring it to a boil, while stirring constantly, and then remove from heat and pour into the filling. Okay, so we're actually it's boiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then remove from heat, so I should turn off.
Okay.
all right.
So actually, I think it's done
Yeah.
because it's now boiling with the egg mixture and the butter. So I'm going to pour it into the pie. Okay.
All right, here my go. Let's see if I can turn it so you can see it on the camera.
Yeah, put that over there. I want to move the pie thing over here.
Oh, I didn't taste it. I probably should have tasted it.
How does it taste? Let's see the pie.
Let me grab
it.
it.
Let's see. I want to move it to here.
Smells divine.
Okay, go ahead.
Divine, I say divine.
See, now she's pouring it into the pie crust right now.
Using a rubber.
Use a plastic spatula or
Yeah, plastic spatula.
Oh yeah, thank you. I was using a spoon. Fred always catches me.
Everything's plastic these days, isn't it?
Well, part of it is the spatula has that curved edge and you can catch a lot more.
Yeah.
So
Well, let me see. Let me taste it. I'll taste it. Mhm. It's delicious. But I honestly think I had to have a cup of water, and I think actually,
You should have added more.
yeah, still tastes wonderful. But
Look how
yeah, I think I only added a half a cup, but I think I could have added probably another full
Yeah, I
cup.
think so too. I
'Cause
think so too.
part of it is, I think my pie pan is, instead of a 9-inch, is a 10-inch. Yeah, because I've got 2 pie. Yep, see, that's a 9-inch, the other one's a 10-inch, so anyway. Lemon.
Okay. So I've got my pie and pie crust, and now I'm gonna start my meringue. Who's ready for that? Nobody?
Now,
No,
do I
but I'll
still
go.
have my oven on. I can turn it off, right?
Yeah. I don't need this for anything. This was clean, but you can rinse it out of here. This one is, we don't need this. Trying to get rid of all these things that, you get around here. Okay. You get my electric beaters out.
Probably. So what do you guys think for my whipper? Which set one should I use? The whisk or the batter one?
The whisk.
The whisk one.
Oh, yeah, I was expecting something.
Might need a bigger bowl too. This bowl is kind of small.
I missed a step when you are heating up the filling. Are you supposed to let it almost come to the boil before you?
Yeah, you come to a boil. Let it come to a boil. Then you, pour a little bit into the egg yolk at a time. Then you put the whole thing into the pan.
Oh, you're not supposed to have the eggs in with it when you're cooking it on the stove.
No, I
you,
didn't.
I did something wrong.
Then you pour it back in.
Yeah, you wind up with scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
So let's see. You bring the mixture to a boil.
It might be pretty forgiving. We'll see.
Bring the mixture to a boil, and then you take like a quarter of it, put it in the egg yolks and whip it. Pour that back into the mixture, bring it to a boil again briefly, and then
Cook it at a boil until it's thick.
see, look, I should have added some more water. See, it's got a little bit of an edge, but I think that's why they put meringue on it. They put so much meringue, it covers all the imperfections.
The meringue will kind of cover the rest of the pie shell. Okay, you guys, I've got my egg whites in this big bowl, and I'm getting out my little electric mixer, and I'm going to start mixing. I'm making a meringue. Now the meringue, you want to make it somewhat stiff.
Yeah, I had it in this little bowl,
Whip it
and I
until foamy.
think I need
Then
a bigger
I add
bowl.
sugar and continue to whip until stiff thing. So I gotta get my sugar out.
Now, I don't see why we couldn't have just used regular lemon juice for this. It wouldn't have tasted as good, but
Well, you don't want to add any more liquid to it. Yeah, we're gonna add sugar to it only.
well, I meant
Okay.
instead of using the fresh lemon, you could have just used.
Oh,
lemon
you're
juice.
talking about, yeah. Okay, it's asking me for how much sugar, let me see. It's asking me for
Okay, let's see. Egg whites.
6 tablespoons of sugar. Do we have a
6
tablespoon
tablespoons
here?
to add to your meringue.
6 tablespoons. I want to put those in this bowl, I guess.
Oh,
That's not dry.
I think the 6 tablespoons. I think the beginning of that pudding mix was so simple. Without putting the butter and eggs into it, I think just could make just a pudding.
Oh, I forgot the butter. Oh
We'll put it in now.
no.
How much
What you
butter?
do?
How much
Marie,
butter?
2
You put the
tablespoons.
butter, when did you pour it into the pie?
I've already poured it into the pie shell.
Okay, well, go ahead and put the butter in and swirl it around and it'll melt.
How much butter?
It's just 2
Uh,
tablespoons.
See if you can do it that way.
How much
Yeah,
butter?
it should have cooked though.
2 tablespoons of butter.
Well, maybe it's better for me with the cholesterol
Yeah,
problem
it's
I
probably
have.
healthier without the butter.
Ah,
Probably it's healthier that
it's
way.
probably healthier, but it won't taste as good.
Wait a second. You're supposed to make a healthy dessert?
Well, you know, she's a vegan, so everything's healthy.
Oh
Okay, I'm measuring out my sugar, and it says that I should get 6 tablespoons of white sugar. So I'm putting it in a bowl so I know that I have it before I start whipping the egg. Oh, I can't get this out.
Now, in the past, I've made a mistake of leaving the egg whites out too long, and if they get warm, they don't whip up very good. So if you know,
Well, they've been out. So anyway, I've got my, so it's gonna be 6 tablespoons, and I'm gonna start whipping, you guys. I'm gonna whip my egg whites now until they're foamy. Then I'm gonna add. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna put this back into the oven. So turn on the oven again. Because we're gonna have to put it in the oven so the meringue will get brown. So can you let's turn it on.
so turn the oven back on at 350.
Turn the oven, yeah. Turn the oven back
Oh,
on.
to brown the meringue. Oh, yeah.
Okay, my egg whites are now foamy.
I didn't hear you, Barbara.
My egg white is now foamy. So it's
Yours
foamy.
foams up so much. Mine's
So
only
I'm gonna
partial.
start adding the sugar. 6 tablespoons of sugar.
Oh, I put the sugar in right away. So you
Do you?
foam it first and then add the sugar slowly. Oh, see, I put all the sugar in the egg whites right at the beginning.
4. Along with this, put it back in.
Barbara, how fast do you have your mixer going? I guess she didn't hear me. Get this all whipped up.
I'll use that rubber okay, I've just gotten just with my egg whites. They're pretty stiff. So I'm gonna put them on top of the pie now.
So Barbara, when you did your whip it, what speed do you whip it at?
I don't know, it's probably high.
Do you do it at the highest speed or like a medium speed?
Yeah, I think I did. But I have just one of these small ones I've had for 15 years, you know what I mean? So it's not a new type. Okay, so I'm gonna spread it around this pie. And did you, okay, you went and washed it? Because I thought there was some more left in there.
Oh,
Oh, but don't worry about it.
yeah,
It is what it is.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I've got, tastes good. Okay, now I had a little bit of zest left. So I'm gonna take and spread a little bit of zest on top of the pie. Just for decoration.
You had 6 tablespoons of sugar?
Yeah. Okay, now it's ready. It's ready to go back. See, it's ready to go back in the oven so that the meringue can get brown, a little brown. Okay, can you help me with this?
Set on the oven door, yeah. Minute.
Can you help me?
Yeah.
Well, in fact, I'm gonna ask you to do it. I can't do it. This is not hot.
It'll just be like a few minutes for the browning, right?
Should do.
Like
We'll
3
just
or
be
4?
checking it by our eye. Can you move it a little
Mhm.
bit more in?
Oh, a little more.
In because,
Okay.
yeah. Oh my God. And you, Jane, I go to the bathroom, so
Yeah.
you can check it, okay?
Okay.
Taking a
waiting
break.
for it to be a
Taking
little
a bathroom break, you guys. I'll be right back.
brown. It says your battery is running low. Oh no. Our battery is going to die. I don't know what the plug is. You might want to plug in your PC.
Did you have any trick on how you spread it out on top, or just?
I don't know how she spread it out on top. Yeah, she had to go. And we need to plug in the PC, but I don't know how to do it.
Well, we're almost done, but
Yeah.
if how's everybody else's come along? Yeah, how do they make the like?
Who all is cooking this? Suzanne and Maureen, are you cooking it?
We've got.
You're supposed to whip it until it has stiff peaks before
Can you
you
put a
take it
little
out
bit
of the
of
bowl.
cream of tartar in the egg whites?
I think so. I've heard of that before.
Mine doesn't seem to be coming to the peak stage, but maybe I got a little bit of yolk in there so it won't whip. Back to whipping.
It takes a long time too. But yeah, I read that if the eggs get warm, they tend to not work as good. So don't have too much mess. But I've got 2 more pie crusts.
I'm coming.
You have your
Yeah.
plug in the computer.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I go to the bathroom first.
Yeah, but I'm like, the computer's running low, and if it dies, then we're cut off.
Okay. Here. Let me plug it in. And then would you do that? Plug that in
Plug it.
right there.
Okay.
Let me see where's the plug.
On the bottom.
There. I just plug it back there.
We lost them. I'm gonna pause the recording because we lost them until they come back.
But our pie is in the oven. Let me see.
Barbara's back. She got her laptop plugged in.
Yeah, you
You
close
want
it.
your seat?
Yeah. So you know what I mean? It's in the oven, trying to get brown. And
I just realized we're almost finished with the cooking show, and I never put your name on there as Leave It to Chef Barbara.
oh,
So,
Oh.
good thing you came back in. Now we're back going along.
oh God.
So, how long do you put the meringue in for?
Well, it's been in a couple of minutes, hasn't it?
I set my timer for 5 minutes.
But I think more, it depends on your oven now, because my oven door doesn't close right. So Gonna be, it might be a little longer. I think even on my pie crust, it took a little bit longer because of that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
That's the
something, I'm
thing about
tired.
recipes, they can be
I thank
completely
goodness for Jane
precise,
here to
but
help
if
me.
you have different
She's been
ingredients.
such a good helper. But I have to, give my mom a lot of credit for making all those pies, and she did it alone. Then she not only did pies, but she did about 6 or 7 different kinds of cookies. You know,
And
she
you're,
liked
you're
to
the
bake.
family of 5, right?
Mhm.
So you have a lot of kids to feed.
Well, this was for Christmas. She'd do that for Christmas.
Yeah.
But
She did pumpkin pie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
fruit pies. Well, my mom was a good baker, and that's the reason I could have a bakery in Nigeria. Now, I didn't do pies and stuff. I did wedding cakes and birthday cakes, and I did the celebration things that the British like. That's what the Africans want, like meat pies and sausage rolls, little princess cakes. They like that because I would do it for receptions. And cut the wedding cake. There might be 1,000 people though at the reception, and they want me up there. They call me Oibo, white man. They want me up there with the bride and groom cutting the cake, because then everybody know that Oibo did the cake. It was so funny, and I would all be dressed up in Nigerian garb. You know what I mean, with my head tie, and I'd be flashing just like everybody else. So it was fun.
You ever put like fruit and stuff in there? Cause, like make it more African,
What? You couldn't get a lot of stuff in those days when I lived there. So you know what I would do is I would in the corner, people would be selling oranges, and they would peel the oranges first, and then they would cut it in half and give it to people. So all the peelings of the oranges
Barbara,
would
can
be
you tilt the
stacking up.
camera down a little bit? We only see the top of your head.
Oh, and so all of there'd be stacks and stacks of oranges in the market. I mean, orange peel that they would just throw away. So I had the guy that worked for me, I had him go around to the marketplace and collect sacks and sacks of these orange peels. Then that was free. I wasn't paying for that. And then I'd bring him back and I'd candy the orange peel.
Ooh.
And then I would cut it up in little pieces, and that's what I used for my flavoring. Yeah. It worked out pretty good.
You get this for free.
Free, yeah. Now the traditional wedding cake in London was a fruit cake, but the thing is, nobody could afford all the dried fruits to put in a big cake like that, so I wouldn't be able to use it.
Yeah.
Make as well, fruitcake.
But I love fruit cake, so
Yeah, I was surprised when I went to the States and the wedding cake wasn't fruitcake. Because we
Well, the
always
funny
have
thing
fruitcake.
is in the US,
Uh,
people make fun of fruitcake. They think it's horrible.
oh, I
Yeah,
love it.
It's
I
the,
love
the
it.
joke is fruitcake lasts
It
forever.
lasts
Like,
forever.
yeah, that's our wedding cakes.
until
Yeah.
I went down and worked in the Caribbean where they make like the good spiced cake.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's like,
Well, my son-in-law is from Jamaica, and they live in
Lots
London.
of
So
rum in the cake.
yeah, well, they put rum in, and it's so good. They always have fruit cake there, and yeah, they put rum in it, and
We used
oh
to
boy, it's
we
so
used
good.
to sing at camp. Would you like a little musical interlude? We never eat fruitcake because it has rum, and one little bite turns a man to a bum. And can you imagine a sorrier sight than a man eating fruitcake until he gets tight?
Oh, I love it, Maureen. Wow, that was
Away
so
with
good.
rum, by gum.
like Canada is far away from the Caribbean as you can get. No.
No, that's a song about the Temperance Union.
Hey, look at, I just took mine out of the oven.
Okay, but it's not kind of brownish
It's
on top.
brown.
It is, I mean, if you can see close, but should I get it more
Just
brown?
barely.
It
I
had a
think you should
tint-
get it more brown.
Yeah, a little more.
It had
And
a
then
tint
you
of
didn't put
brown.
any zest. You didn't have enough zest to, drop on the top.
No, I made a
Oh,
mistake
shoot.
of putting it all in,
Oh, okay.
Got the zest.
but I could probably get some more. Let me see. I don't think I grated
I think
everything
so.
off the lemon.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
moving.
where your microplane will come in handy.
All right. Let's see here.
Oh, yeah, see, it's a little brown and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's perfect. Absolutely. We just took ours out of the oven. It's nice and brown. Put it there. I will put, yeah, it's nice and brown and everything. It's just perfect. Let's see. Can you see? Let me see. I don't know.
Beautiful.
Can you see it?
Yeah, just like Mama made.
Yeah, just like mom made. That's mom's there. Oh, boy. In fact,
Share
even
your
it might
mom's
be a
recipe
little
with
bit
us.
more brown than what I want, but it still works.
Oh yeah, I better set the timer because I'll forget it in there.
Yeah. Okay, mine's out of the oven.
Kind of burn.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
Do you want to turn it off now?
Can
I
you
did,
show it?
yeah.
Oh, you did.
Okay, here's mine.
Ooh.
See.
I guess
Ooh,
it
looks
helps.
good.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, nice.
So
Looks
yay,
beautiful.
the first one ever.
Oh really? You
Yeah, I've
bake
never
all the
made it.
time though. I
Nice,
thought.
Suzanne. Oh.
Hi, Jane.
That must be the only thing Suzanne has not cooked before.
No, there's a lot.
All
But
right,
when I
any
visit
last
you again,
questions?
Suzanne, we'll have to make the vegan version.
Hmm.
Just like any last questions, Barbara? You want to give us any
No.
farewell, and then
I'm glad mine turned out. I think it'll be delicious. I think if I'd added a little bit of more water, it would have been fine too.
Yeah, to make the pudding like more, right? I mean,
Yeah. But
how
I guess
long do you let this cool before you cut into it?
I'd say an hour or so. You know, let it get a little colder.
Oh man, it's like that's the thing about dessert. You can't just like taste like cookies. You have to let them set. Like everything, you have to let them set for a little bit to, like, otherwise they're not perfect. But
I'm not
But
waiting
you
that
can
long.
put it in the refrigerator. But you know, I see these in the freezer. You can buy lemon meringue pies, but to me, lemon meringue wouldn't really hold up in the freezer.
I mean,
So I don't know what they put in it.
you had the luck of having a mom who had her own recipe, so of course.
Yeah, that's really lucky. I didn't.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing your mom's recipe with us.
Okay.
And a couple people said they couldn't make it and were very excited to see, especially you know how often I've screwed up pie crust, following all different recipes, like doing meticulous things like making sure the butter was cool but soft by sitting it out on the counter and all different tricks.
Well, this was pretty easy, wasn't it?
And
Yeah,
it
I mean,
looked
this
like,
was very
it looked like
forgiving.
the lard worked for you, or
Yeah, mine did. The only thing is, you know, this one I didn't roll out. I just put it with my thumbs and see all the little thumb. I made it really quickly because you were putting one in, and so I just like put the ball in here and squished it out, and I don't know, it came out.
You haven't tasted it yet. You got to see if it's flaky.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
I
But it
think
doesn't
there
look
is a
like it has any
science.
browning. It's not brown a little bit.
it is.
Have you
I think it's
baked it?
just my camera, but
Have you baked it?
yeah.
Yeah, I would make it a little bit more
Here, let
brown.
me get it closer. Can you see? It's actually got a brown spot in the middle.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I think that I got it out right before it started burning, actually. So, all right. Thank you, Barbara, for sharing your mom's recipe and your quite literally decades of experience on baking. We were almost keeping up with you because you were just like whipping through it. You were so used to doing things. I saw little tricks like when you were rolling, you put your hand around the dough to make it in a circle with your hands like that before you rolled it out. And then you rolled it out. You know, there was all kinds of little tricks that I'm going to watch this video myself a couple
she
times.
kneaded it a little bit too
Yeah,
while she was
so.
getting it going.
Any final words? We'll wrap up the recording.
No, thank you so much. I thought we could do this in an hour. It's been an hour and a half, so I hope everybody's okay with that.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I
Marie,
hope you're.
I
I hope